Welcome to Conversations Live. For more than a decade, we've brought you the best in books, entertainment, and current events. When the movers and shakers of the world have something to say to you, they say it to us first. And now, celebrating 15 years of broadcasting, here's your host, Cyrus Webb.
And welcome back, everyone, to Conversations Live. I'm your host, Cyrus Webb. Glad you all could join us once again. Whether you're tuning in on the radio dial here in Mississippi, we welcome you all back to the program. Also, those tuning in through our online affiliates around the world, including our iHeartRadio family. We're glad you all could join us as well. Our next guest is not only a repeat guest on our program, but someone who I'm glad to call a friend as well. Mr. Angelo Ellerbee is back with us today. He's the CEO and founder of Double Exposure Media Relations. We're going to talk to him not only about the work he's been able to do there for over 40 years, but also he's an award-winning author as well. His newest book is called The Sense of Success. We're going to talk to him about the new book. Of course, the play on the word sense is he's also launching a new candle line this year, but also what it's been like for him to see the way that he's been able to help others, and also what he hopes this book is able to do for all of you. Mr. Ellerbee, hello to you, and welcome back to the program, sir.
Oh, blessings to you, and thank you very much for having me back on.
Yeah, the pleasure is definitely all mine. I want to begin similar to how you begin the book, The Sense of Success, Mr. Ellerbee, and that is with the reflection. I mentioned you've been in this industry for 40 years, but you've been able to build on sage advice that you were given quite young, as I have been able to do myself. Your mother told you, as you kind of chronicle in the book, The Sense of Success, that you were great, but you could be greater. And you talked to us about the importance of striving to continue to be greater each and every day. How has that advice helped you, not only in your professional life, as we find it in the book, but also just in life in general?
That advice has been the steering wheel of my life. I listen very, very closely to my mentors, and particularly I'll listen to my mother, who I looked at first as one of my first mentors. She created for me opportunities. She gave me freedom to do what I wanted to do as a child. She said, the only thing I want back from you is not to take second, to always take first. She told me as a child that I was great, but she wanted me to grow and be greater. I lost my mother about 5-6 years ago, and that was embedded in my mind to be greater, to help people, no matter what the course of time presented. She wanted me to be great. That stuck in my mind. And how does someone become great? They have to share their knowledge. They have to care for other people. But before they do all of that, they have to have self-preservations. They have to have self-love. And I tell people daily that I am romantically in love with Angelo Ellerbee. And why that may sound like really out, it really isn't. I have to love me, protect me, have self-preservations in order for me to give it back to my clients and give it back to my friends and to everyone that I go to meet. So the steering wheel, the driving force of my life is for bigger and better opportunities. And the only way that I am able to accomplish that is that I'm able to give it back.
Right. I think that is so true. Now, Mr. Ellerbee, the thing that I've respected about our conversations, and we've had a lot of them on this program, but also, as I said, I'm glad to call you a friend, so we are able to have conversations even off the air. One of the things that really has struck me, and you kind of go into this a little bit in your first book, Ask Angelo, but in this book you mention it as well, is that this advice that you give to us, even though you're known in the entertainment industry, and I called you a celebrity, publicist, you're known as a PR guru, this is really advice that all of us can use. Did you know that even when your mother was talking to you about being greater, that could apply to any aspect of your life in whatever profession you chose to go into?
Well, what my mother told me, she wanted me to be great, and she wanted me to be able to give back. Those were the first two things. So she didn't say give back to celebrities. She didn't say give back to entertainers or models. She said give back to all. And so I wrote this book with people in mind, the sufferers of life, the mental patients, mental illness, the incarcerated, the what do you call it, the domestic violence victims. It goes on and on that God has allowed us chances. He's given us 1 million chances of life. We deserve the second chance of life. So the book was written to motivate and stimulate and educate people to say the sense of success lives within you. You have to, once again, and excuse my redundancy, fall in love with you. You have to let no one, you have to detox people who are around you and get into you and find the better you and stay focused, letting no obstacles. And when there's an obstacle or a detour, you have to find ways around it in order to claim your victory. And so this book is really about this time in life for that recording artist who did not make it to the apex of their success. I'm saying there's no timeline on your success. You can come back and apply yourself. And for that person who is getting out of jail and having to start all over again, okay, you paid your time. You did your time. You paid your dues. Now let's just go get life all together all over again. And it's okay. It's okay to start all over again. And so that's what this book is about. It's to inspire. I want to inspire people to say that they can be great too. It's okay to be great, but then you can be greater. Then you have to be the greatest. And those are the ingredients or the direction that I am trying to convey over to my readers.
Exactly. And you do that so well. And you do it both personally in sharing your own personal struggles and challenges, Mr. Ellerbee, but also, of course, more broadly, things that have happened to your clients and also others. One of the things that I love about the book, you shared pieces of emails, and it basically was saying, look, I know I'm great. I know I'm good at what I do. Why aren't things happening for me the way I want? Why am I going through this? You talk about it in the book, and it reminded me of that saying, Mr. Ellerbee, fall down 7 times, get up 8. And you write this in the book, and I think our audience can really get a lot out of this. Disappointment, defeat, downfalls, and pain are obstacles that only make you stronger and better, is what you write, and most of all, smarter. And then you write this, yet downfalls are real. The key is learning why you fell down and then how to get up. Hopefully you get up with the understanding that you may fall yet again, but that the challenges are strengthening your walking legs for this journey. How were you able to apply that? Because there are a lot of people, as you know, who have come and gone in the 40-plus years that you've been involved with double exposure, and even in the entertainment industry, there have been people who have gone through setbacks, challenges, and they've allowed it to defeat them. How have you not allowed that to happen to you, Mr. Ellerbee, and how has that getting up and understanding what happened benefited you?
It has happened to me. I've fallen down 1,000 times. I think the key thing for me is that I kept the faith. And I had to have an understanding that you are to fall down. And falling down is not a bad thing. Getting up is a bad thing. Falling down gives you a sense of understanding that I did something wrong. What did I do wrong? And you have to examine what you did wrong. And once you've examined it and you got it, you can then propel yourself to stay focused, to win, to get up off of that ground, to stop feeling sorry for yourself. I've learned that no one cares about you no more than you care. If you don't care, then others don't care. If you don't have, others will not give. It's just really important for me that you have a faith and a belief in yourself, and that you let no one take that faith or belief away from you. Even though they may not agree with your career objectives of what you go to do in life, you know the difference in right and wrong. As an adult, you know the difference in right and wrong. And you have to examine your wrongs to make them right and stay in. The key thing is not winning every race. It's about staying in the race. Eventually, you have to win. So when you believe that, so it is.
Right. That's so true. For those who are just tuning in either on the radio side or online, you're listening to Conversations Live. We're having a great conversation already, as you can tell, with celebrity publicist and entrepreneur, Mr. Angelo Ellerbee. We're talking with him not only about how he's used the experiences that he has gleaned over the years to help others, but also now how he's able to help people around the world, first through his book, Ask Angelo, and now through the book, a book that I think all of us can get something out of it. It's called The Sense of Success, and we'll remind you at the end how you can get both books. This chapter of your life, excuse the pun, Mr. Ellerbee, is an interesting one. I mean, could someone have told you 40 years ago that you would be an award-winning author?
No, not at all. Absolutely not. From high school, from elementary school to college, high school, I was not an academic student at all. I did not like reading, more or less writing. But as time grew and I started to take my maturity pills, I took them once in the morning with a big glass of water, and I began to grow up and to understand that I had something inside of me that people needed to know more about me. I think that being in this business, and I am a very hard-nosed kind of character, people had the wrong impression of me. I have worked for 47 years in this industry, and I have put millions and millions of people, and I say millions very lightly, through college and supported families. I always tell people I've had more. I know the Empire State Building has more steps than I had employees. I had so many employees, and I took care of so many people, and they had the wrong side of me. And so these books was a way out for me to let people know that I do care about them, but I'm not going to let you block my blessings. If you cannot come to the table with contributions that is going to uplift my company and uplift yourself, then we have to ask the question, then why? You have to come to the table. My mom always said you come to the table with an appetite to win, eat everything, experience everything, enjoy what you can enjoy. Those things that you don't like, discard them and create something new. And so, therefore, that has always been my way of life, and I wanted people to have an appreciation and an understanding of the greatness and the gift of life from my point of view.
Right. You use a popular illustration in the book and build on it, Mr. Ellerbee, that being Humpty Dumpty. We all have heard the nursery rhyme about Humpty Dumpty. You, though, in what you share in the book, The Sense of Success, show that Humpty Dumpty can not only be put back together again, but also can continue on and experience a lot more setbacks. I love the fact that you talk about on this climb, and you reference that a lot in the book, on this climb that you will fall. And as you get higher, remember that the fall will be sometimes tougher and harder because of where you're getting to. You write that ambition can make you vulnerable, and you even talk about your own trust issues, professionally because of things that have happened in your life. But you also talk about this big thing, and we've heard this a lot, the buck stops with me. I mean, you can have the best lawyers, you can have the best agents around you. How important has it been for you to share with people, Mr. Ellerbee, that they have to be responsible for their own careers and their own futures?
You cannot become accusatory to your downfalls. You can't blame the lawyers. You can't blame the business managers or the managers. You have to blame yourself. You're educated. You're astute enough to know the difference in right and wrong. And you have to read documents, understand the business that you're in. Let's not become accusatory. There's been many, many, many times in my career that I have failed, to the times that I have filed bankruptcy. And I would look at it and say, okay, how am I going to get out of this one? And I had a very wise mother said to me, how did you start your business? And she said, didn't you start it in the basement of this house? I said, yes, Ma, I did. She said, okay, so roll up your sleeves, put it back in the basement, and then roll it out. Do it all over again. So I I didn't sit back and blame my accountants for what I lost, or the business managers for what I lost, or the agents. I had to blame myself, and I had to learn from it. I had to grow by it. There you go, those maturity pills again. I had to take one in the morning, maybe one in the afternoon with a big glass of water, and grow up and understand that you cannot become accusatory to anyone about your mistakes in life. Don't talk about the manager stole all your money, then that means you wasn't watching your money. Don't talk about you didn't get your royalties, you didn't file and you didn't take care of your business. Don't say that you were not successful because somebody didn't know what they were doing. Well, and clearly you didn't know what you were doing. So you have to take blame. Take blame, take your own criticisms, and move forward.
Right. And, I think, too, as you talk about in the book, again, building on that Humpty Dumpty theme, you're going to look at yourself, you're going to see the bandages, you're going to see the bumps along the way, but not giving up. And then that kind of where the reference to the title comes in here, Mr. Ellerbee, the sense of success, and, the sense, of course, S-E-N-S-E, do you give off that aroma of success? You talk about aroma in the book, and it's going to be a great segue as we go into another facet of your entrepreneurship here. You talk about in the book about burning that candle every day and kind of having that serenity time, that me time, that you're able to pray and kind of reflect. How important has that been for you in keeping sane in what can be a very crazy business?
It's been my salvation. I am not going to speak about or try to influence anyone about the powers of my God. I talk to him every single morning, and then sometimes I pray, but I talk to him every morning. And I light a candle. I look out my window. I close my eyes, and I have a conversation with God. I don't just pray for Angelo, but I pray for everything that he's ever created. I pray for the drug addicts, the alcoholics. I pray for prostitutes. I pray for those people who are somewhat less fortunate. And I pray for these people who are around me that I know means no good for me and that has did harm to me. I pray for them too. You have to get really real with life. If you really say that you have faith and you really believe in faith and you believe in the Spirit of God, then you have to not hold grudges, and I'm to a point that I'm holding no grudges any longer in my life. I'm letting it all go. I'm really dealing with Angelo Ellerbee and those things that are around me. I take care of what takes care of me. I'm at that point in that stage of my life where why take the negativity? And I don't know, I want to cleanse myself of all of those things that are toxic. And so the candle, so the prayers, so the confidence, these are the things that I have to live by. I cannot look at failure and let failure defeat me. I have to look at the goals of life. My mother said greatness, and greatness has nothing to do with defeat, depression, mental health. Those are the things that you have to really assess. And then I just really believe that it's really important that you have that partner, that friend, that confidant that you can share your trials and your tribulations with, that you can be open and honest. And in this industry, maybe I've found 2 or 3, but I know that I have one in my spirit of God. And so I have that kind of conversation. I believe very much in that, 200, 300%, that I stayed in this game for 47 years because it's the strength of the Almighty that allows me to do what I do with absolutely no absence to defeat. I've been defeated, but I've channeled it, and I've changed it, and I've learned by it. And I want people to understand, in reading this book, you get a second chance. You get a second life if you choose to have that. If you want to sit in the corner or sit in the house and be depressed and become accusatory and blame people for you not accomplishing of your trials or your tribulations, then that's on you. But I do believe that every individual has the scent of success inside of them. And sometimes what you have to do is fall romantically in love with who you are. to understand where the success lies inside of you.
Yeah. And that is another big thing. You even asked that question, do you still love yourself? I think, for some people, even getting to that point of loving themselves in the first place is so big. As you talked about that, the lighting of the candle and the sense of serenity, Mr. Ellerbee, in the book, you do find that there's a lot of tough love, and you are known for your tough love. You've given it on this program. There are Ask Angelo segments that we have done here. You give it, of course, in the book, Ask Angelo, as well. You say this very powerfully in The Sense of Success. In the end, you write, you'll find that no one actually blocks your blessings but you. After you cleanse yourself of others' influences, you still have to deal with any insecurities, self-doubts, bad habits, or poor discipline that would hold you back. That is not an easy thing for people to realize, that they may be the problem, that it may not be the person around them. How important has it been for you, Mr. Ellerbee, to not only to look in the mirror yourself, but to encourage other people to do the same thing?
Reflections are really important in my life. And I deal with so many young artists that are so cocky. And it's good to be cocky in many situations, but you can't be cocky if you don't know. You have to let the leaders lead you, particularly in entertainment. You are to do your homework, and you're to investigate and learn the who, what's, the whens, the wheres, and the whys of the entertainment industry. But you always have to have a team, and you have to be very selective of the team members that you put there. You don't want check takers. You don't want somebody that's going to agree with you and just to take your money. You want a group of people or a team of people that is going to actually be a team and work for your goals. They see and feel and they smell your goals, and you want them to educate you and bring you up to tune to what is actually going on with your day-to-day ways of your business. It's really important for me to have an understanding of the people that I represent. And when they're not listening to me and they feel that they have other ears that they're listening to, I will just kindly let you go so that you can go and find out the dedication and the devotion that I was giving to you. So I say go and grow. If you can't listen, if you can't understand and share what your thoughts are with the person that you have put in control of the day-to-day business, there's a problem. So the reflections of your old to the reflections to your new, it matters. It matters about who you put in your camp. Who's going to be there making contributions? Who's going to be there to take you to the next level? And if you are just taking people and adding them onto your team and they don't have the education to provide a better way and a better direction for you, then what's the purpose?
Right. That's it. I think that is the big thing, which ties in very well with how you are wrapping up this month as you are not only launching this book, Mr. Ellerbee, that we've been discussing, The Sense of Success, but also a candle launch as well. Talk to us about that. I mean, how did the idea for the candle come about?
I'm going to be very, very honest with you. A friend of mine came over to the apartment, and I always have candles in every level of my apartment. And he came over and he said, "Oh, it looks so beautiful in here, and da-da-da-da, and you should do a candle line, and you should do pillows and accessories." And I was like, no, I don't think so. I don't think that's going to happen. And then, he kept on pushing this. And I said, okay, I'm going to do this. Because I had an addiction to candles. It's Serenity. A candle brings peace. It gives me a inner peace. It just calms me. I'm able to do a better job in my mind if this candle is lit, removing all the demons in my house or all the bad odors or things that are negative. And so he hooked me up with a wonderful guy by the name of Austin Santelli, and Austin created the scents. I told him what I wanted it to smell like, what I wanted each particular candle to smell like. He created it. I liked it. And now we have Ellerbee's Elegance, and that is a line of candles that is being sold with my book. So it is the scent of success.
Wow. Well, so exciting. And I think, just the name itself should be encouraging for people. For those who may be just discovering the book, I should mention both books are available. Ask Angelo as well as The Sense of Success are available through our friends at Amazon.com. You all can get it in print or through Kindle, as I have been able to do. We're going to let you all give out the website here in a moment, Mr. Ellerbee, so our audience can find out more information and get, of course, autographed copies. But what is your hope for people who are just discovering your book? What do you hope it does for them as they not only think about what success is for them, but also think about what it takes to get it and keep it?
Well, I really wrote this book, as I said before, it's for everybody. It's just not for people in the entertainment industry. I really do believe that people have second chances. I deal with so many of yesteryear's artists who have given up on their lives, who possibly are committing or want to commit suicide, who just don't want to live anymore. I wrote this book because I thought that I would convey over to them that they do have a second chance. And if you want to come back at it again, here's a book that you can use as a guide to get you to where you need to be. It's not a book that's going to tell you about the correct selection of a manager or how to wear a dress or how to put on your makeup, but it's a book that is going to tell you that you have the capabilities to win in this. And it's going to address all the concerns in which you possibly had when you were growing into that particular career. The book for me is quite personal because it deals with a lot of the people that I deal with on a daily basis, where I'm unable sometimes to express and convey over to them what I think they need to be doing. This book addresses those issues. Because a lot of the yesteryear artists do not, they just don't want to make that change, from a record company to and then you being an independent person. They're used to getting a lot of money for signing and the whole other bit there. They're used to going and spending a lot of money to go on radio and the whole other bit. I'm telling them there's a digital radio. I'm telling them what they're doing in terms of what they should be doing in terms of the selection of their manager, what they should be doing in terms of the dress attire, and being confident and sitting at the table and being a contributor and listening so that you can contribute more and more and more as your career progresses.
Right.
And I think you have to really, I'm sorry. Yeah, I think you have to really spend time with who you are and stay committed to you. Stay committed. That's the key thing. Having faith and not giving up. And don't go into this thing about money. Go into this thing about eagerness. Go into this industry or your chosen selected industry about being aware and wanting it and learning from it. It's not, you have to be a contributor to yourself first. And that's what's really important for me. It's really, really personal because I see so many young kids and old people destroying themselves and giving up on themselves because they're not willing to listen and they're not loving themselves and then they just give up. And why? It takes the same energy to win as it takes to lose. So why not win? So all the drugs and the alcohol and the pills and all these things you're taking to get through, it doesn't matter. It's clogging you. It's clouding your way of thinking. You don't need it, and you need to rebuke it. And I'm nobody's born-again Christian. I just know what works for me or what has worked for me. And I want to, if I can reach 5 people, then I think that I've done my job. I am not anywhere attempting to be Martin Luther King or any other savior. I am trying to do what I know I should be doing, and that is sharing knowledge, educating, and having people not to destroy their lives because they believe that they're not making it to the magnitude in which they wish to make it. You just got to keep constantly using your faith, taking time to detox and get those people who are in your life out of your life and stay focused.
Right. That's it. And that focus has definitely helped you to get to where you are today, Mr. Ellerbee, and will continue as you propel forward, especially with this new chapter, not only, of course, as a PR guru, award-winning author, and an entrepreneur as well. Again, Mr. Angelo Ellerbee has been our guest. Another great conversation with you, Mr. Ellerbee. We've been discussing his brand new book, The Sense of Success. Get it for yourselves, again, as I mentioned, through our friends at Amazon.com. And Mr. Ellerbee, for our audience that want to stay connected with you and get autographed copies, how can they reach out to you?
They can go to ellerbeeselegance.com. The books are for sale there. All of my information is there. They can reach out and call me. If they want to call me, they can call me at 201-224-6570. And yes, I answer the phone, and I will indulge in conversation with you.
All right. So make sure you all are definitely staying connected with Mr. Ellerbee. As you heard him say, Ellerbee's Excellence is where you all can find him there online, as well as, of course, to be able to reach out to him through his phone number as well. He's all over social media, too. Mr. Ellerbee, congratulations to you again, and thank you so much for the time. Really appreciate it.
No, Cyrus, thank you, and keep doing what you're doing. You're such a shining example to your listeners, to people like me. I adore what you're doing, and I adore you for what you're doing.
Thank you. I appreciate that, sir. And we thank your audience for tuning in to another great segment of Conversations Live. Until next time, I'm your host, Cyrus Webb, saying, as always, enjoy your day, enjoy your life, enjoy your world. Make sure you take out time to enjoy some good music as well as a great book. Thank you all for choosing Conversations Live today. You all make it a great one.